Secrets.
I didn't say anything.
Katie Parker. Look at you two. You look adorable, and you guys are following the guidelines. You look like you're 6 feet apart. Like you're in the corner of the Zoom box. Like that's at least 5 feet apart. So good for you. Put an example right there. Let's get the show rolling. He's not quite as old as Dirt. Let's give it up for Bob Ooten.
Yay.
Woo! Thank you. I watched The Last Comic Standing religiously. Stand-up comedy is not my problem. At 80 years old, just remaining standing is. A lot of friends ask me, what's your favorite part of a stand-up comedy show? And Dominica told you earlier, and that's when the MC announces the route to the bathroom. I'm over 80 years old, and I dated Mrs. Claus before she was Mrs. Claus. When I took my wife out, when I met my wife, we went dancing, and she said, "Wow, Bob, those are moves that I've never seen before." It took me a little while to realize that was probably not a compliment. Now I'm over 80 years old, and my new moves are hopping around, trying to put on my pants. My dad and mom were divorced in the Second World War because my mom committed adultery. In those days, if you committed adultery, you lost your children. Today, you commit adultery and you can win an election. My mom and dad were divorced, so I had to go live with my senile grandmother. And we're out walking one day, and she said, "Bobby, we used to live in that house over there." I said, "Grandma, we still do." My dad was away a lot before the war. He was in the Second World War, and after the war, he worked construction. He was away, so I felt abandoned. I love being abandoned. I'm a killer solitaire player. I was a short-term baby. I'm a perfectionist. Most babies take 9 months. I nailed it in 8. I was very young when my dad and mom divorced, and so I didn't know what my biological mother looked like. As I grew older, though, I began to realize what the postman looked like.
Oh!
My brother. Dad was very angry getting divorced because he was away in the service, and so he sat me down and he said, "Bobby, your mother does not exist anymore." And and she went right out of my life. Today, I think that I was probably the first person to ghost a woman. I grew up really shy, and my first relationship with a girl did last 6 months. It ended when she figured out that I thought we were in a relationship. I was very infatuated with one young girl. Her father was a butcher. I had seen what he had done with loins. And I didn't want my loin. If I pissed him off, I was afraid my loin might be hanging in Butcher K's window. we grew up poor, you know, and I guess we would call it food insecure. So when I go to parties, food is more important to me than people.
Mm.
So I said, hello, Mr. President.
Mhm.
Now get out of my way. I see a piece of cheesecake with my name on it. You know, there was a lot of divorce in my family. When I met my wife, we went out on a blind date. And as of middle of this past year, we'll have been married for 55 years.
Oh.
55 years is 5.5 decades or 2,000 arguments that I didn't realize that I had lost. Research shows that married men live longer. I can tell you from experience, it just feels longer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you know, I had a paper out when I was growing up, and it was frustrating that I could only make $5 a week.
Mhm.
Now I'm a stand-up comedian. I can make twice that much. Thank you very much. I'm Bob Ooten.
Solid stuff. Solid stuff.
Sorry, I said Ooten. I was like, I knew it was Ooten. I'm sorry.